person after the break is Garry Brooks. Garry Brooks. You just jumped towards me. Community forest in Zambia will be his talk today.
Well, thanks for letting me talk about things that maybe aren't in Victoria, but it all is our problem. We're all on this little rock zooming through space, and so maybe there's a little short fuse, maybe ready for it to go boom. So after 38 years working in the forest industry, I made a decision to pay back, and so I went to Zambia as a community advisor, and I thought I could fix all their problems in 6 months and be home. And that was in 2002, and I've been there ever since, spending roughly 6 months of the year there. And over the course of time, I have sort of envisioned a community forest. And the most important thing about the community forests in Zambia is to give the communities back their lands so they can at least maybe make a sustainable livelihood from it. Most of the lands are being deforested very quickly for their own use, mostly in charcoal and in agriculture. So there is a little bit of commercial use. And so how do you get a forest to become self-sustainable? Now, I'm not using this, by the way, as a, I'm not having a point or anything, it's just to keep you from looking at me. So what I tried to do was figure out how we could help them. And flying over Africa, you can see a lot of areas that are, there's just, they call it the sub-Saharan, but they might as well call it the Sahara pretty soon. And so one of my first visits out, when I was describing forestry, the women were on one side of this big old tree, and the men were on the other side. And I looked at them and I thought, my God, I'm here to teach them about forestry. Well, I come from British Columbia, where, yes, it's true, my son is cutting trees that my father actually planted. So it does work. But will it work for these people that have only a 34-year lifespan? Now, indigenous trees are very important anywhere around the world, and especially in Zambia. And so I couldn't actually say, well, this teak or African mahogany takes 90 years to grow, when I'm looking at these people and looking and thinking, my God, they're only 34 years life expectancy. So my idea was to create something that they could actually see in a very hurry. So I figured out I would produce 3 fast-growing trees. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of moringa. It's a very fast-growing tree, and if you don't, just go onto Google and put miracle tree. You'll get page after page of it. We grow a lot of that, and also the next one that we selected was lucina. It's very good for firewood, nitrogen fixing, and so the third one, which is, sort of hits what we've seen here, was biofuels. It's called jatropha, and I actually have some of the trees now that we have growing are actually producing seeds, and we'll be in the oil business. Look out, BP. And it'll be African generated. Zambia, for instance, is inland, and it relies on a 6-inch pipe from Dar. And if the United States Navy ever wanted oil, you can imagine that Zambia couldn't outbid them for it. So even at 10 or 20% usage of biofuels, it would be great. So what we're trying to do is get these trees to be planted and starting, and we're getting, actually, this is jatropha, but I just told you I wasn't going to do this, but it's a good example. This woman here is actually making a revenue now from actually collecting the seeds. It's 34% oil, by the way, if you ever go. You can literally take a hammer and crush a seed and throw a match on it, and it actually burns. So it'll take a while, because nothing in Africa moves very quickly. And before that, you had seen there was water wells and some blackboards. It's no good going and talking to a community and telling them all about what you can do and do and do if they don't have clean drinking water and they don't have education. So we started with just small nurseries. If you're wondering what these white things are, we do recycle. I don't think there's many people in Africa who recycle, but these are beer containers. And so we pay the young children in the villages and that to collect these, and they actually, kids now are having a revenue. It was either that or pay 16 cents to a plastic firm to grow pots. And so these are biodegradable, everything is fine. This particular is at Makuna village, I don't know yet. I work extensively through Zambia, and one of my biggest projects right now is at Livingston, which is Victoria Falls. Every day I see it, it's really not that exciting after you've seen it 1,000 times. But anyhow, it's very important to give these lands back to the people, and that was my idea, and it is working. For the last 3 years, we've been planting 2 and 3 million trees a year. This year we will hit 5. So it's paid off. I am associated with the Canadian Institute of Forestry. I don't know, they've given me an award actually in 2008 for my work there. And so this is what I'm getting now is happy kids. They actually got paid for that, and they're taking those trees home. And I was at a talk a while ago, and people said, well, you must have rows and rows and rows of trees. Well, picture of going down to your local friendly beach and taking 5 or 6 pieces of sand and throwing it on the beach. It's going to take a long, long time before we're going to see anything. But it's like all these other projects that were talked about. If we don't start doing these things, and it's just going to be a matter of time where our grandchildren are going to say, well, why didn't they do something? So that's just about all I'm going to say. And if you ever want to know, this young fella here, I didn't pick that t-shirt, by the way. He picked it out of a bag that it came probably from somewhere. And it's choose their own destiny. I would not like it if somebody came and knocked on my door and told me what to do. And so this is what we have to do to the third world, is to give them the education. Open up their window to their brain, which we have subdued over the years with slavery and poverty, and increase what they're doing. And so if you want to hear more about this, I am available sometimes for some talks. And that's my 10-minute talk.